November.
Say hello to my little friend.
Pete, what happened, Pete? Pete! Alfredo, Pete, what happened, guys?
Oh! General, do you read me? Yes, General, I have men down at my location. I need you to send airstrike. No airstrikes. Send more men to my location as soon as I evacuate.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. This time I am reviewing Call of Duty World War II. It was developed by Sledgehammer Games and published by Activision, and is a first-person shooter and is its 14th in the primary installment in the Call of Duty franchise, and just released on Microsoft Windows, the PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on November 3rd of 2017. And the main focus now on this game is a much more streamlined experience, much like the original Call of Duties. It no longer has any sort of double jumping or wall running, and is going back to the classic gameplay of old, especially in the campaign, including no regenerating health. That's right, now throughout this game you must rely on medic squad mates to actually give you health packs and heal you in order to survive. And even ammo can run out, and you'll need other squad mates to actually throw you ammo to keep shooting and killing the bad guys, while others on your group will act as spotters that will mark enemies on the map to help you find them. You can even drag injured allies to cover to help save them and capture enemies, especially in the campaign mode. And all of this will add to the experience that is used to level up your character. And of course, this can't be a Call of Duty without you being able to pilot some vehicles, including some take segments and stuff like that. Now, the main thing about this game on the multiplayer aspect is you have a area called the headquarters, which is a central giant hub set on Omaha Beach that is considered a social space where you can set up your online matches with friends. It allows you to either be randomly assigned to either the Allies or Axis sides. If you're an ally, you'll be either a British, an American, or a French soldier, and the Axis is the Germans. Now, keep in mind also in this headquarters social space, it allows up to like 48 players at one time to run around and has different activities, everything from opening loot boxes that you gather throughout your games. There's a firing range, 1 versus 1 death matches, and even some little games you can play, like classic Activision games, like Atari 8-bit games, which are pretty damn cool actually as a nice little diversion. Now keep in mind, one of the main aspects with this area is also the fact that your loot boxes, when you open them, they literally fall from the sky, and other players around you can actually watch you open your loot boxes and see what you get. Now don't worry, they can't run up and take the stuff, but they can actually see what you're getting. Now they kind of ditched the class system from the original game and went to a thing called divisions now. At the very beginning of the game, you get to choose one of 5 different divisions, which all have their own combat, training, and weapon skills. The first one is infantry, and that is basically your mid to long range with your bayonet charge. The airborne is focused on speed and being quiet, and suppressors, pretty much the stealthy people of the group. And then you have armored, which carry the big guns. I mean, hell, you get a rocket launcher as a secondary weapon. weapon. Mountain is your long-range attacks. Basically, those are your snipers. And the Expeditionary, which consists of, I'm just going to say, shotguns with incendiary rounds, which is really fun to play. Now, as you're going through this game, it does have an altered thing called the kill cam. It's now actually known as the Bronze Star. So it will show impressive kills at the end of the match, kind of similar to what Overwatch does. Now, it also does have, of course, the return of your Nazi mode. That's right, it does have a standalone Nazi game, killing Nazi zombies, and it is pretty much going through like a horde mode with different massive amounts of enemies that will attack you. They keep getting harder and more of them as you progress, and it does have some star power behind it, including Ving Rhames and David Tennant are in it as actual in-game models, and they lend their voices to the characters, which I thought was actually kind of cool. It is a co-op game mode that has a totally original storyline that is set in an alternate history from the campaign mode, and it involves the Nazi Third Reich creating an undead army, and it kind of reminds me a lot of Zombie Army Trilogy. Actually, it's a wave-based game mostly, but it does have its own class system that consists of offense, control, medic, and support, and they each have their different in-game abilities with equipable perks like the main game. And it kind of plays out similar in terms of some of the structure, similar to Dead Space. And as you go through the area, you'll find these things that you can spend your points on, which are called jolts, which you can use to buy upgrades to help you progress through the levels of the waves after waves after waves. So far, I've gotten over like 25 waves, so I don't know how many you actually can do before it ends or not. Now, as for the main story takes place and it centers on the 12-man squad of the American 1st Infantry Division from 1944 to 1945 in the European theater. And it will have several areas and major real battles that you'll progress through the game as you go through the main story mission. And the main story campaign will take you roughly about 7 hours to beat the campaign, but over 10 hours if you want to do all the other additional challenges, including all the collectibles and stuff like that. And like I said, it does have vehicles that you'll pilot, including a tank as an example. Now, like I said, they did do a lot of changes to this game to go back to the old classic version of Call of Duty. There's no longer an indefinite sprint. You can leap forward onto the ground, though, which like a diving forward, which is known as hitting the deck. So at any time you can press the button and you dive to the ground. And of course, along with this game, you got to think it does have PlayStation 4 Pro support and Xbox One X support, which supports dynamic enhancements from 1440 to 1620 to 2880 to 1620 with massive facial enhancements. And of course, the PS4 Pro will support checkerboarding for the fake 4K, and the Xbox One X actually supports real 4K, which I haven't seen because I don't have an Xbox One X, wink wink, but if I did, it would be nice to check it out. Now, keep in mind that this game does have loot boxes, very similar to every other damn game that's coming out that I'm not a fan of at all. You'll get a loot box, you'll open it up, and it will have random sets of cards in it that give you different abilities, perks, and weapons. And you can open them up on the headquarters mode, like I said, so everyone else can see you. Now, keep in mind, since this is another one of those Activision games, that does mean it does have microtransactions. So far, I haven't noticed anything that's really bad about it, but I know that Activision kind of got in trouble a little while ago for a patent that they had involving a matchmaking ability that will purposely place you with a low-level character and with higher-level characters, so you get killed a lot. So that way you see, oh look, that guy's got this neat weapon, let me try to level my character up or buy it with a microtransaction because I really want to see that weapon up close, because you get a little taste of it, just a little taste of it, and you're like, ooh, I really like it and I want that. But guess what? You got to play through and grind to get it, or pay real money for the loot box to get it. So far, it hasn't really made it that bad of a game. You can still play no problem throughout the game and have a hell of a lot of fun without dealing with the loot box thing at all. So I don't really think that quote patent is actually really affecting this that much, though I have noticed in my matchmaking I do get placed with a lot of high level guys. At least early on I did, and I don't know if that that is intentional or if that is in fact their nice little patent thing that they're doing. Now, I have had some issues with the game in general. There does seem to be some lip sync issues, and the loading times during the online games absolutely suck. I mean, when you're done with a match, you're looking about a minute and a half sometimes before it takes you back to the main menu before you can actually get into another match or decide to go out and, alter your character with all the nice little abilities you have. Because you do have tons of different features, of tons of different, customization of your character, different matches you can play. All in all, this is actually a pretty damn good Call of Duty game. I'll admit, hands down, the overall story of the campaign mode is phenomenally done. You storming the beaches of Normandy and fighting against the Nazi threat, the German threat, is actually very well done. I actually really enjoyed it. It actually has very great characters that progress through the battle. It's super gory, super violent, and very, very well done. Like I said, when you play the online mode, it does seem to take a major hit to the terms of the graphics department. It almost looks like a high-res PS3 game, but all in all, it's still nothing that really breaks the game as a whole. In all, I found this game, even though I am not actually a fan of Call of Duty, this is the first Call of Duty game I've played in years, and I'll have to say, I was actually quite entertained by it. The campaign mode, like I said, was fantastic. The online mode was very, very fun, though to me it did get kind of repetitious and got a little boring and stale after a while, but due to the fact of the constant upgrading of your characters, the different weapons and gear you can get, and the multiple maps that you can play on with several different game modes that you can play, did get me hooked for quite a long time, and I can definitely see why a lot of Call of Duty fans do like this franchise, and this one is a great game. I'm glad that they went back to the World War II. I did not like how they went with the futuristic crap in the later ones. This one is a fantastic game, and all in all, I have to say it is actually well worth it. Now, should you buy this game, should you rent it, or should you pass? Well, honestly, if you're a fan of first-person shooters, go out and buy this game. It's actually worth it. For the price that you get, it is actually a very well-built, well-designed game. It is fun, and of course, since this is an Activision game, it does have a season pass for a bunch of new maps and DLC along the way. But honestly, name one game anymore that doesn't have some sort of DLC with it. If you can tell me one, I would be friggin' surprised. Even South Park's having DLC. So all in all, this is definitely a must-have game if you like the Call of Duty franchise. If you like first-person shooters, I can highly recommend it as well. And if you like multiplayer deathmatch, hell yeah, this is a lot of fun. And even if you don't want to buy it, definitely rent it. It is not really that bad of a game, and I even say at a full price, it's actually worth it. Please leave your comments below if you plan on playing this game. If you're playing it now, what do you think about it? Did you think it was actually a big improvement for them going back to the World War II aspect and getting away from the futuristic crap that they had in the past couple games? And remember, I always got to end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.